myself I was not going to do a video just yet. However, I think I am going to do it, as I've pretty much let these people get away with more than enough. I am currently uploading this live. I look a hot mess. I really don't care at this point, because I am at a point where I really don't even know where to start. I don't know where to begin. I know where I left off, and in the meantime, I have found myself just pretty much trying to survive. As I mentioned before, it was my family behind a lot of what was going on. They did not stop. There was no stopping point. Let me see, maybe I'll begin here. Okay, so right after I uploaded my last video, I started noticing some really weird activity from my landlord. Now my landlords were a couple. So this is wife and husband, and I didn't have to say that, did I? Like, we don't know what couple is. Yeah, so anyways, they were a married couple. Anyways, they were I want to say slumlords, right? So no matter what I tried to do to get them to fix the things that needed to be fixed, there was no fixing anything. And eventually I started getting a little frustrated, quite a bit actually, and demanding that they fix things by simply withholding payment, right? I was trying to figure out a way to put it in escrow, but I ended up just, letting them know that that's the plan that I had, and they began to just scramble around after a while. Like, they truly, took it personal. Finally, right? So, I know you're like, why am I choosing to say something now? It's a pretty long story. Honestly, I felt kind of, I want to say that I was cyberbullied, right? And I wanted to know what direction everything was coming from. So I figured, like I said, I don't know where to start. So I figured I'll start here, where I can explain all the weird activity that went on, and hopefully that will clarify everything that it'll connect the dots as to what I uploaded last, and all of my other previous videos, trying to lead up to the point of explaining that I was not safe. I didn't feel as safe as I should have. Either way, so moving on, getting back to what happened with the landlord. So I recall talking to them, letting them know, like I said, I started getting demanding at, becoming demanding at this point. Letting them know, basically, if you don't fix this and that and this and that, you know what I mean? It's been this long, right? So now I have a paper trail letting you know, hey, it's been this long. You could have, easily done something a long time ago. So they begin to scramble about, you know what I mean? And finally started fixing things. And I'm like, okay, fine. So things are starting to work out in that area. But then my children's father ended up reaching out to me. Remember, I mentioned I was cyberbullied. In the midst of being cyberbullied, my children's father reached out to me as someone else from a, I can't remember I can't remember the site. The number. Anyways, he tried to act like he was somebody else. And me, I guess being discerning, if you will, I ended up finding out eventually that his name was connected. Like, it showed up. I can't explain. I don't know how to explain. A WhatsApp. Is it WhatsApp? I think it was a WhatsApp account he reached out to me on. So he reached out to me as somebody named Chris or something like that. And this Chris act like he wanted to talk to me. He first started, what do they call it? Love bombing. So it was, oh, you're so beautiful. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. No, I mean, you're really gorgeous. No, I mean, you're really, really fine. You know how, how that goes, right? And then, all of a sudden, as soon as he heard the word no, as soon as he heard, what he didn't want to hear, all of a sudden he switched on me. And I was all types of B's, F's, D's, Q's, elemental P's, whatever else, he could find, to let me know I was, the scum of the earth. And I'm like, this feels familiar. And he did have his last name under this Chris name. So I was already thinking like, oh, he sent his cousin in. Oh, he sent his, somebody else in. He sent, but it was him. Lo and behold, it was him. And how did I find that out? Somehow my phone, I think I had an iPhone at the time that I was using. And they were able to okay, yeah, so I had an iPhone that I was using, and the phone was able to tell me, okay, this person is connected to that person. So it actually came up under my children's father's name and this Chris Griffin, right? And I'm like, duh, it's actually him. It's not even somebody that he sent. So I'm like, that was a bold move. So then this same Chris Griffin showed up under, okay, so my landlord, remember I said it was very, very weird activity going on. So my landlord, I want to say a little bit of fast forwarding from here, right? So here's this Chris Griffin. He done cursed me out to oblivion for whatever he did not receive, and, that he expected to. And, yeah, fast forward, landlord decides to reach out to me on a 3-way call. I'm like, well, isn't that interesting? Mind you, whenever I spoke to her, one, I'm recording all calls, so you're not going to get away with any, mishaps with conversations. Oh, you said this and that. No, I have a record of all conversations, right? And so I'm like, okay. When I noticed that she reached out to me on a 3-way call, I said, okay, this is another setup. I just don't know where the setup is, right? I'm like, why didn't she just reach out to me and, let me know what she needed to let me know? Like we always do. Like, it never showed up as a 3-way call. So I'm like, who's that third person that was on a call? Lo and behold, Mr. Chris Griffin was on the line. Now, I done already figured out who Chris Griffin is. So I'm already like, So I asked the landlord. I said, do you know who reached out to you that day and was on that call with us that day? Oh, no, I don't know who it was, is what she says. This is the, like I said, they were a couple. So I mostly interacted with the woman of the couple. So she says, no, I don't know what I don't know. You know, she said, so because I'm a realtor, this is her words, because she's a realtor, many people reach out to her, so she doesn't know. She asked for a screenshot, and I shouldn't have trusted to send her a damn thing, but I did, right? So I sent her a screenshot. I said, hey, you see this right here? This is my children's father, the same one that I warned you about, right? Because I had already had a conversation with her. I let her know I moved out here because I was trying to escape a domestic violence situation. And for you to hear my story, nod your head, act like you understood, and then let my children's father be on a call with me without my consent lets me know you're fraudulent, right? There's something here. There's another setup, right? And anytime my children's father is present, I already know I got to go ahead and shield myself somehow, right? I already know I have to protect myself. And so, and if he is present, I also have to be aware that my family is also connected. That's another story for another day, or maybe just a continuation of this story more so. Anyways, I'm giving you a little bit of a picture of what in the world my home looks like. These are just a lot of things. Like you can see the drop ceiling, you can see the cracked walls, you can see it's a lot. It's a whole lot going on here. So that's why I'm telling this story right now, because it really gives a little more insight on what's been truly going on and why I had to take a hiatus from the internet in the first place. Right now, I did not dial myself up. I did not get myself together for the camera. So I am not camera ready in any way, form or fashion. However, I needed to get this message out because after one setup, there's another setup, and another one follows, and another one follows. But I really want to get to the root of where a lot of it began. Okay. So yes, getting back to the story here, I found myself at a point where you know, like I said, the landlord's like, oh no, you know, people just contact me. I had no idea. Okay, so you're now saying you didn't know. Cool. So I'm like, okay, well, that was still weird, right? So then she started really getting weird, right? But that's not all. Remember I said one setup follows another one, right? There's never one setup. There's always another one and another one, right? And so for me in particular, I'm always aware of that. Once I see one setup, I'm like, all right, let's get ready, right? And so the next setup, I'm sitting here talking to a few people about what went on with the landlord, and I'm like, isn't that kind of weird? Why would she call me on a three-way call? Why didn't she speak to me? At this point, I'm feeling like there's a fraudulent situation here, right? Like, aren't you a landlord? Aren't you supposed to be protecting my, you know, like my rights, you know, with you? Like, I'm just like, this doesn't feel right. Basically, excuse me, I can't even speak at this point. And I'm just like, okay, well, while I'm speaking, how about my neighbors begin to stomp and make noise and like really make themselves known, like they were basically saying, don't speak on this landlord, right? And I'm like, every time I would begin to get on my phone, every time I would begin to record, all of a sudden this neighbor begins to get super loud and super noticeable. And I'm like, that's rather interesting, right? So we go from that to all of a sudden the landlord decides, I want to say about 2 weeks later, after me discovering that she basically, you know, betrayed my trust with that phone call, right? That three-way phone call. She all of a sudden wants to have, what is it called? Have someone look at the place, and she's ready to put her place up for sale. Now, come on, anybody in their right mind is going to notice, okay, there's something fishy here, right? Like all of a sudden, you didn't have this place for how long, and all of a sudden you're ready to do what? So now there's this thing of, yeah, I need to have somebody look at the place. First, she started threatening eviction, right? I'm a mother. I get tired at times. I'm trying to manage a home by myself. Things get super messy at times, right? She comes in, she's like, oh no, the way your home is, you're going to have to leave, or you're going to have to get this together. And I'm like, cool, I can get it together, no problem, right? I'm tired, of course, but I got it. So I got it together. And she's like, oh yeah, because I'm going to have different people come in here and look at the place. And it's like, basically, I'm selling this place while you're here. To a new landlord. And I'm like, okay. So that change alone was very, questionable in itself, and, a little nerve-wracking, if you will. But I had to quickly adapt, and I did everything, I was compliant with everything, according to what she asked of me. But I was just, confused, I'm like, okay, am I tripping? Or did I see what I saw? Am I, should I look into it deeper? Was it just a random call? But why would you call me on a 3-way call? So still, things are still not adding up. I want to see the more, how do I say it? I want to see it as a coincidental thing, right? I want to see the more, innocent, part. I want her to be innocent in this story, in other words, but it just wasn't happening. The more I put 2 and 2 together, the more things just wasn't adding up. So I'm like, okay, cool. So then, like right now, I'm recording, and all of a sudden, this loud behind neighbor is very, very quiet. So whenever I'm recording, whenever I am on my phone, all of a sudden things get quiet, and the neighbor lets himself be known. You know what I mean? Or he tries to shy away from being known. So any other time, as long as I'm not recording, as long as I'm not on the phone, there's pots and pans pretty much behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Stomping, slamming doors all night and day long, and some more stuff, right? You'll find that more in a private conversation. There's more private details that I will not be putting directly out here on the live. But anyways, so yes. So I ended up speaking to a few people, like I said, about what happened. I'm confused about it. And the landlord then begins to, so the landlord begins to, have people to look at the place. I want to say about 4 different perspective landlords, I guess you would say. Yeah. Yeah. So I think it was like 4. I think it was like 4 that looked at the place. It's not the word I was looking for, perspective. Anyways, yeah, so like I said, this is all just taking a lot out of me just to even get to this point and speaking about all of this, because I was really trying to keep it to myself. I was really just trying to lay low. However, one setup, then another setup, and then another setup. It's never over. You know what I mean? It's just never over, seemingly. And so I'm like, okay. So I'm currently facing yet another setup, right? And that's the reason why it's like, you know what, Shani, go ahead and speak. You know what I mean? Go ahead and speak, because as long as you think that you can keep it to yourself, as long as you think you keep the peace, you can keep the peace. As long as you think that, you can kind of play it off as just innocent, coincidental, it's going to be another setup, right? And these people are not just coming for fun, okay? They're sending real killers. They're sending real, I don't think you could say that on YouTube. Yeah, so anyways, I wasn't trying to get monetized with this one. But either way, they're sending real deal, you know what I mean, murderers with an M. You see what I'm saying? So it's getting worse. It's getting worse. The domestic violence went from unheard, unseen, to, you know, being just outright ignored. And now, you know, when you do that, you leave room for more domestic violence. You leave room for the predator to continue to search out the prey, right? If you will, right? And so for me, I have been, oh, my babies need me. I will resume.